You know, I get the distinct feeling that playing a 3-day limited test of a first-person shooter game at 5 in the morning is probably not the best idea if you want to turn your brain off and have a casual shooter experience. But hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to XDefiant. So I think the last time I played this was when the beta came out, and that was like 6 months ago. And I'm not sure by the time this comes out, like I said, the test period is only for 3 days, and it either ends today or by the time this comes out it will already be over. It went from the 19th to the 21st. But yeah, I figured that while this is around, I might as well make one video on it before it goes away. And yeah, just like the last time I played this, I'm having tons of fun with it. You know, there's like a few slight like network things, you know, hiccups and whatnot that I'm noticing every so often, but overall this is super fun. And you know, we've been waiting a really long time for this to come out, but you know, hopefully the extra time that they're taking and however much time after this that they take, you know, will hopefully mean we have a really well polished product by the time it actually does come out. Although like I said, when I played the beta, even like back then, you know, the game felt really good, apart from the few like network things that would occasionally happen. But yeah, I don't know what the difference between this test and the beta is in terms of like game changes, but I mean, it was so long ago that I wouldn't even be able to notice. You know, people are always talking about how XDefiant missed the boat in terms of capitalizing on Call of Duty's like decline, especially when Modern Warfare 2 was out and before Modern Warfare 3 came out. I think I'm gonna snipe because I played on this map earlier with a sniper and actually did okay.
Occupy, stay nimble. The mission objective here is mobile.
Oh god, I forgot about the announcer in this game. Hold on, is there a separate
Find, take, and hold the capture zone. You're officially on a rampage. Hostiles are having a bad day.
What if I turn dialogue volume to 0? You know, it's 5 in the morning and I completely forgot what I was just talking about. So, oh yeah, how you know, XDefiant missed a huge opportunity, you know, with Modern Warfare 2 being shit. But this game is different enough that I feel like it will have its own dedicated player base no matter what, and the game being free whenever it does eventually come out is obviously going to help that immensely. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it once before already, but the fact that Call of Duty's multiplayer is not part of the free-to-play, whatever the fuck you want to call it, I feel like is a huge missed opportunity. Yeah, I guess it works out for them though, because I mean, myself and a ton of other people still buy the game for the multiplayer every year. Ooh. But yeah, the game being free to play, I feel like differentiates this enough that, you know, people who want a multiplayer respawn shooter experience will be able to have that in contrast with Call of Duty. And, you know, Modern Warfare 3, you know, in terms of Call of Duty games, is probably the best one that's come out in the past few years. So now granted, because the game is made by 3 studios, holy shit. You know, there's no guarantee that the game that comes out the next year is going to be better or worse than the current one, which, you know, you'd think that the studios would like take the good things from each other's games and, you know, want to universally improve their games every single time. But, you know, Call of Duty games come out and there's features that were in the last game that are not present in the current game for whatever reason. Remember how Modern Warfare 3 marketed map voting as like this revolutionary fan favorite feature returning to the game series? Yeah, that was the thing. But yeah, I guess there's no guarantee that this game, you know, if it comes out and it's good, there's no guarantee that the game will remain good. So I guess the difference there is not as drastic between the two ideas as I think it is. But by the way, yeah, if you're here from like the Souls videos that I make, yeah, I do play FPS games every now and then. In fact, that used to be the main type of game I used to play. But yeah, I do like to play everything. So if you're seeing this and you're like weirded out and you're like, ew, FPS games. How did you let me do that to you? But yeah, I do like to play a whole bunch of different stuff. It's just that I upload so infrequently that I don't really get to showcase my variety of interests all that often. Jesus Christ. I was considering making a Arch Thrones video today, but like I said, this is only around for either the rest of this day or it might be gone already, so I wanted to play it a little bit before it goes away. Oh, yeah, this barrier skill is like super good. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Souls stuff that I do and Souls adjacent stuff, then don't worry, you know, that's not going away. But speaking of FPS stuff, there's a few things I want to talk about. So I've gotten back into Destiny 2. It's like an addiction. It's like a abusive relationship. You know, I wrote the game off a while ago after they laid off their staff and fucked over a bunch of people. And, you know, with the final shape, the initial like trailer that showed off the new light subclasses, I was like, okay, that's cool, but that's not enough to want to get me to play the game again. And then they showed off the gameplay like reveal, and it was like, oh, they're adding prismatic, and that's in the double exotic thing. That actually seems really cool. So I figured for at least the final shape, I'll probably play that, and if I, feel like being done, then I'll probably be done after that point. But I mean, we'll see. Shooting aliens is really fun though. Also, the new Into the Light update that came out for the game recently is apparently really good. It's like the horde mode that everybody has been begging and asking for in Destiny for literally ever. And one thing surprising, the raid for the next Destiny expansion comes out 3 days after the expansion comes out, because people are assuming that there's going to be like campaign related content that comes out afterwards. So, they don't want to have the raid take a week so that people can finish the story for the main game. But yeah, it's a very interesting decision. Oh, all right. Well, we killed each other. I guess it's fine. I forget, is the firebomb like her ult, or is it just an ability? Oh my God, the fucking scope sway when you rechamber the bolt on a sniper while aiming down sights is so disorientating. Yeah, I figured as somebody who's been following Destiny forward ever since the game came out, even if I haven't been like fully dedicated the entire time, I figured I would at least see the end of this story through. Oh, we lost. Fucking boo. And all the people who got laid off at Bungie who worked on the final shape, and it was probably the last thing that they worked on. If the final shape is good and, a bunch of people decided not to play the game because of the layoffs and whatnot, which would be totally understandable, but at the same time, seeing the thing that you worked on that is actually really good be shrugged off because of bullshit, seeing the thing that you made not get the recognition that it deserves would really suck. So I don't know how to describe it. I guess it's like in solidarity for the people who worked on that thing, the final shape, probably the last thing that they worked on before they were let go, is like that work deserves to be recognized and praised for however good it is. I feel like I'm like trying to justify this to myself, but I haven't bought it yet, but I'm pretty sure at some point before it comes out, I'll end up buying it. And from what they've shown so far, everything about the expansion, obviously they're not like showing tons of story details, but like the new enemy race, which I haven't mentioned yet, which nobody thought they were going to add, but they actually did it. They did it after, how long did the Forsaken come out? However many years ago when they added the Scorn, which are just reskinned Fallen. I guess they are different enough, or whatever. Anyways, yeah, it's been a while since they added new enemies to the game, and nobody thought they were ever going to do it again. But yeah, the new enemies, the story, seemingly from the little bit that they've shown, looks really good. The new gameplay stuff with prismatic and the exotic stuff, it all looks really good. So I think from what we've seen so far about the final shape, the work deserves to be recognized. And if it comes out and the whole thing is good, then it deserves to be praised. And then I guess we'll see where the game goes after the final shape comes out, because unlike the past however long, usually they announce the expansions in advance, right? Because we knew about Witch Queen and Lightfall for a while, and then they also showed the final shape in another reveal at some point. So I think this is the first time we've been in the complete dark about whether or not there's going to be another expansion in Destiny's future or whatnot. I assume there will be, but they just haven't shown or talked about what that is at all yet. In terms of other FPS stuff, it's taking forever to find a match, by the way, because it's 5:30 in the morning. I was watching a Jack Frags video, and he mentioned this game that looked really cool called the Skur Ritual. It's basically like a round-based horde, quote-unquote, zombies mode style video game, and it has this really cool, like, I don't know how to describe it, like horror like aesthetic. I'm not sure if that's the proper way to describe it, but it's basically like people who like round-based zombies. It's like, whoa, somebody made a game that's literally just like that, and it has this really cool, unique aesthetic. It kind of reminds me of Hunt Showdown if you took that to like the nth degree and added like more fantastical shit to it, purely in terms of how the game looks, I mean. But yeah, that game looks really cool. I can't remember the last time I made like this style of video. It's gonna be weird editing this, and then when I finally finish it, it's going to be like 15 minutes long, which is relatively short in terms of the videos I've been making recently. But yeah, look at all these high level people. They've been playing this literally all weekend. But in terms of Souls-like games, a really cool and big game came out, I think like a few days ago at this point. It's in early access on Steam right now. It's called No Rest for the Wicked. It's made by the same people who made Ori and the Blind Forest. It has that very distinctive like painterly art style, but it's like an isometric Souls-like game. There was like a preview video that they put out a while ago, and the game looked really good there. And I'm gonna do something really stupid. I'm gonna use the double barrel. I'm sure this will go well. Also, yeah, I totally didn't notice that the announcer voice was gone because I turned down the dialogue volume. But yeah, I have really nothing to say about the game. No Rest for the Wicked, because I haven't played it. I'm probably gonna wait a while before I even think about playing that game, just because I usually don't play early access games. But yeah, from what I've seen, that game looks really cool. Also, I think Hades 2 is in early access, or there was a test like version of the game that people got access to. Get fucked. And if the game is anything like Hades 1, which I have and I've played a little bit of, yeah, that game's probably gonna be very good. Also, I love everybody thirsting over the Greek gods in that game, because the game art is fucking amazing. Guy's AFK. Sir, are you okay? No, I'm just gonna sit here. I wonder if he's gonna come back, or maybe he's just AFK. Fuck you. I offer my hand in friendship and you spat in my face. But yeah, I think you had to request access to the Hades 2 test, and not everybody was able to get it. So I'm too busy yapping. I forgot what game mode I was playing. That guy's name is Edgar Allan Poe. But yeah, going back to this game, apart from like the slight networking hiccups that occasionally happen, my actual biggest concern with the game, apart from, you know, how long it's taking to come out, which I'm not sure what the reason for that is, but it's kind of concerning. But even disregarding that, my actual biggest concern with the game is the amount of guns that are in the game. I somehow missed that first shot. I want to commit forever sleep. So I think there's 4 assault rifles, 4 SMGs, 3 LMGs, 3 shotguns, 2 marksman rifles, and 2 snipers. And then there's a handful of handguns. Oh my god. Oh, and I don't know if that's because, you know, these have been like beta and test versions of this game, or whether or not this is literally all the guns in the game that it'll have when it comes out. But yeah, I think my biggest concern is the amount of guns there are to use in the game seems kind of low, especially for how long this game has been in development for. You know, with this otherwise really good game, it would suck to see, you know, interest and player sentiment wane because there's not a ton of content in the game in terms of guns to grind for and get. A person has 36 kills. Yeah, playing this game at like crackhead hours was probably not my best decision, but I really wanted to play it. All right, there's a random dude doing the most Omega Uber flank known to man. You know, I feel like, I guess this is just me with FPS games in general, but I always feel like I'm getting surrounded even though there's only 6 people on each team. Oh my god, he has a flamethrower. Wow. This gun is so physically long, I wouldn't be surprised if it has the longest range out of all the shotguns. Also, I wonder if the AA-12 is still bad. I'm not even going to bother to try and use it during this test because it was not very good the last time I used it. Wow, he had me like dead to rights there, and he just flubbed it. Oh my god. All right, well, I'm not a complete abject failure. I have reached double digits in terms of kills, so I don't know how people like shmove in this game, because whenever I slide, it like locks you into an animation. I know you can like slide cancel and bunny hop, but I don't know how to slide cancel works in this game. Also, just complete side tangent, I just remembered, against all odds, the Fallout TV show was apparently very good. Well, I just totally just killed that guy in his super. That's hilarious. You know, there were people who were complaining about the Fallout show, apparently a retcon, some like New Vegas lore, but I mean, is it really a retcon if the show takes place in the future? And I mean, I know Bethesda is not like known for their super like true to the lore in terms of their writing, but with the show specifically and what it does with the New Vegas stuff seems like a bunch of people being mad for no reason. You know, obviously the games and the show never go out of the way to specify what endings are quote-unquote canon, you know, even though the games take place, you know, one after the other. They always write around every game's story. But yeah, just TLDR, the show is apparently very good, and I'm actually kind of excited to watch it at some point. Also, I would literally die for Lucy. I will give her all my bottle caps. Anyways, yeah, with the show being super popular and good, it's bringing a bunch of people to, you know, play Fallout. And even 76 is getting like a bump in player numbers, which is very funny. I remember I played it a while ago and I didn't absolutely hate it by any means. It's just that, you know, some of the jank of how Fallout 4 feels, you know, 76 is made on the same engine. You know, the controls in Fallout have always been like kind of clunky and weird, and you know, Fallout 4 did a lot to smooth it out as much as they could, but you know, I mean, at the very least, I'll go Fallout 4 some credit, you know, despite the fact that it's not a particularly great RPG, quote unquote, and I don't particularly like its story. It does go out of its way to feel like a decent shooter. unlike Fallout 3 New Vegas. It makes me curious whenever Elder Scrolls 6 decides to finally come out. They announced that game like 10 years before they probably should have, but I wonder if it's going to get like a major combat overhaul like Fallout 4 did, because I swear to God, if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out and you're like slowly slashing 3 inches in front of your face like you are in Oblivion and Skyrim, I'm gonna do things that I should not say in a recording. But with all that rambling said and done, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. This game is super fun, and I hope it comes out at some point in the near future. That would be cool. Although it's not like there's a shortage of games to play. You know, the Elden Ring DLC comes out in like 2 months, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that, you know, is fun. But anyways, I'm rambling. If you did enjoy the video and you want to help support the channel, then leaving a like and subscribing would be very much appreciated. I've gotten really good at saying that because I've said it so much at this point. But anyways, later.